Hey, it's Mark Ferguson with InvestFourMore, and welcome to another one of our real estate investing videos. Today's video is to celebrate flipping our 200th house. So recently we sold our 200th house flip. I've been doing this since 2002 or 3 with my dad. Really ramped things up the last 5 or 6 years or so, selling about 120 flips in that time frame. So recently we sold our 200th flip, and to celebrate that, we're going through my 5 favorite house flips that I've done over the last 5 or 6 years when I've been doing videos of them. So I'm going to talk about the flips, why they're my favorite, show you some footage of them, and we'll show you the house. It was our 200th flip as well too. And then I also have an honorable mention flip that didn't quite make the top 5, but was also a pretty cool and interesting one that I'm going to show as well. So we'll get to that really soon, but of course, check out InvestFourMore.com, my blog, which has hundreds of articles on being an agent, rental properties, flipping houses, all that good stuff. And we do have 9 books on Amazon if you want more in-depth information on flipping, being an agent, all of that good stuff too. All right, let's get right to it. This first house we're going to check out is a 2-story I bought a few years ago. And I knew when I bought this house, it probably wasn't the best flip I would ever do. And I knew that because we're going to try to restore the house, not just repair it. So there's a big difference in price between restoring and repairing because this house had a lot of original wood trim, a lot of original features, and we're trying to keep those features, and making them look good is much tougher than replacing them with something new that's easier to paint, easier to spruce up. So we spent way too much money on this flip, and it took us way too long, but it was a really, really cool house once we were done with it. This is one I bought from the MLS, and I think I paid $178,000 for it. We spent at least $80,000 on the rehab, maybe a little bit more, and then we had another $25,000 or $30,000 in other costs that went along with it, the financing costs, the carrying costs, the selling costs, and I think we ended up selling it for right around $320 in that range. So we made some money, but it wasn't very much. And it took a ton of resources because I had my contractors working there for a very long time, lots of subs working there, and it turned out to be a really cool house. Now, what's disappointing about this one is I drive by it all the time, and it looks like crap. Their yard is dead. The people still live there. I don't know what the inside looks like, but the outside looks horrible. So it's a little frustrating when that happens, but it's part of the business, so it does not bother me too much. But this was one of my favorite flips, not because we made a bunch of money, but just because of the house itself. And I knew that going into it when I first bought it, that it might not be a massive money maker. All right. And we're going to have videos, links to all of these videos below in the description. So if you want to see that house, we'll have a link to it. I think we have a before and after complete video, which shows everything and how much money we made and all the numbers and all that. So be sure to check that out. So if you want to see more of these houses, you have the option to do that by just going below in the description and clicking on those links. All right, this next one was a very exciting one for a number of different reasons. The first one being it was my most expensive house flip I'd ever bought before or up until now. And we paid $535,000 for this house. It was an REO sale, which means it was a foreclosure, and they were auctioning it sight unseen because the tenants still lived there and wouldn't move. So this was a crazy story, and you may want to click on this video to hear the whole story. I can't go into all of it right now, but basically, the tenants who lived there is a wife and 3 kids, and her husband was in prison in New Jersey for securities fraud, for defrauding seniors of money. And she had signed a 10-year lease with her uncle before the foreclosure, but it was actually quite a ways before the foreclosure. Her uncle ended up dying. The house went through foreclosure, and the bank bought the property and tried to get the tenant to leave, and she would not leave. She was paying $2,200 a month on an $800,000 house, and she had 2-3 years left on that lease. And the bank took her to court twice. And both times the court ruled in the tenant's favor that she could stay, even though, according to the laws and regulations of that time, the tenant is only supposed to be able to stay after foreclosure if they have a valid lease. And some of the reasons they list as it not being a valid lease is having a 10-year lease, which she had, having the lease between family members, which she did, or having a lease that was well below market value, which it was. So they qualified for all three reasons on why the lease should not be valid, but the court held it up. So eventually we're going to think about taking her to court, trying to evict her, trying to do all types of different things, and we ended up negotiating with her and paying her $20,000 to leave. So she left the house actually in relatively good shape, and we didn't have to do a whole lot of work to it. Now, it was a big house. We did some work, painted, some flooring, some different things, but we still made over $100,000 on this flip, and that was because of the risk and stress that came with dealing with this tenant. But while a lot of people called me crazy and said I was making a huge mistake buying this house, I loved the deal. I thought it was a lot of fun, and I thought it was super interesting. And yeah, I never did see the inside of the house except peeking through the door when she did answer the door when I knocked on it one time before we bid on it. Actually, it's after I bid on it and got it under contract. But I could just peek by her a little bit to see the inside of the house. So I did not see the basement, the upstairs, anything except for just the entry before purchasing this house. All right, so moving on. This one, I kind of list this as one of my favorite house flips ever. And this was a house that we bought from our direct marketing campaign. So once in a while, we'll send out letters, postcards to people saying, hey, do you want to sell your house? No commissions. And once in a while, people do. Some people want to sell their house for the most money on the MLS with a real estate agent, and some people don't. Some people don't want showings. Their house is a mess. They don't want to pay real estate commissions, or they just have a deep hatred for real estate agents, which is more common than you think. But quite a few people want to sell without using an agent, and this is one of those people. And so we ended up buying this house for $312,000, and then we ended up selling it. I think it's 4 or 5 months later. We did a pretty quick job on this one for $423,000. So we did decent on this one. It was not in horrible shape, but it was a bigger, newer house and is in a higher price range. So we did have to spend a little bit more money making it nice. So we ended up putting brand new hardwood floors in much of the house, which we almost never do. Nikki, my project manager, did a really good job on this one. I'm just picking out the paint colors. Had some black railings, which we don't normally do, which looked really cool. The kitchen cabinets, we actually were able to paint, but we put granite in this one. And overall, it's just a cool house. And that's why it's one of my favorites, because it was a neat house. We were able to make huge changes in the house without having to rebuild it or tear down walls or do anything, just from the cosmetic changes we made. And that was really cool to see. So again, we'll have this one in the link below if you want to see more of it. But this was one of my very, very favorite house flips. And it went very well, which a lot of times doesn't happen on our house flips if you follow us. All right, the next one, the Rooster House. A lot of you probably remember this house in Terrence, the Rooster. I bought this house from the MLS, and I don't know if it was a distress sale or the owner just had some issues, but she moved out, left quite a few things there, including her rooster. So this house had a really cool big red barn, and that's one reason why I really liked this flip too. But in that barn was a rooster, and while I was doing one of my first videos, which we'll link to below if you got that picture yet, I'll keep saying it, but I was in the barn filming, and I got too close to Terrence, and he did come after me. He just barely scratched my leg a little bit, but I learned to stay farther away from the rooster. And Terrence is still alive and doing well. Nikki, her in-laws, took Terrence, and he lives on their farm now. So, and from what I've heard, the geese terrorized Terrence, and he is not the king of the farm either. So he got put in his place a little bit. But really like this house just because of the barn was really cool. Such an amazing barn. The house was cool with original hardwood floors. It had a finished attic, which was cool. It also had hardwood floors up there. Just had some really cool features, a neat location, and it was a neat property. And this is one we bought for $262,000 from the MLS. And then we ended up selling that one for $415,000, I think, in that range, right around there. So that one worked out well, but we did have quite a bit of money into it. I think probably $60,000 in repairs. But the neat country flip, and I like those country flips. They can be fun. All right. On to the last one of my favorite flips, and then we'll also have a bonus after that. So stay tuned for the bonus house. This next one was also a direct marketing house we bought. So a postcard letter we sent out. And this one, when we bought it, was rough. It's a really cool house, and it also had an acre, some really cool outbuildings. We bought it for $212,000, but it had flooded. So the owner lived out of state, and his kids who were actually living in it for a while, and I think they went on vacation and turned the heat off and didn't turn the water off or something like that, and the house ended up flooding. So a bunch of sheetrock was gone. It was almost gutted. So we went in there, insulated everything, made sure the electrical was good, made sure the plumbing was good, redid the drywall, flooring, paint, kitchen, some baths. We did a lot of work on this house. We ended up selling it for, I think it was in the 360 to 370 range, but it ended up being a really cool flip. But we did put, a good 70 or 80,000 into it, I would guess. And just mowing the lawn was a massive project every couple of weeks because there's so much land and so many weeds. But it was a neat house. I really liked how it turned out. We gave it kind of that country feel with the trim and the floors and just the floor plan in general. So this was one of my favorite houses because it was such a huge difference in what it looked like before and after we were done with it. All right, and now finally, the last house, my bonus house. This is one that was a surprise bonus for a lot of you probably because we did almost nothing to it. So we bought it for $143,000 from a wholesaler, and it was a good-sized tri-level house with an addition off the back, and it had another garage in the back, and it was a pretty neat property. But one thing about it was it had original kitchen, original bathrooms, and it needed a lot of updating. And what did we do? Almost nothing. We bought it for $143,000, spent about $20,000 in work, and almost all of that was replacing the sewer line because that was bad. And we painted. Actually, I don't even think we painted. I think we just put in some flooring, a little bit of flooring, and that was it. But we left the kitchen, left the bathrooms, just left it all as it was. And we listed it for like $219,000 and ended up selling it for $235,000 or $240,000. We got multiple offers on it, and it turned out to be a great flip, and we did almost nothing to it. So that's why I like this flip, because it was a really cool house, a neat original house, and it sold for almost as much as it would have sold for if we fixed it up, because I think someone really liked those original features. It was livable, and it was just a neat house. So that really taught me a lesson while I was flipping. I'm like, man, you really don't have to do as much as you think. Sometimes you can get away with a lot less, and people still love houses. They still like them. Places do not have to be absolutely perfect to be cool properties and sellable. All right, so that is my list to celebrate our 200 house flips of my top 5 favorite flips and extra bonus house, which was pretty cool and a neat deal and taught me a lot about flipping houses. We might do some more of these cool lists if you want. So below, tell us if you want us to do more of these lists or have ideas for new videos. Always looking for new ideas, so comment below. We appreciate the thumbs up, so please hit that little thumbs up button. That helps us out. Welcome to all the new subscribers. We appreciate you as well. Hey, it's Mark Ferguson with InvestFourMore. We're standing outside a house flip that is finished and ready to sell. So this was a doozy of a flip. We completely changed the floor plan, had some other crazy stuff happen, and spent way more money than we thought we would, but we still might be okay on it. We are going to be listing it here soon, but we did just notice once the dumpster was taken away how ugly the driveway is, so we're going to have our guy come back and clean that up a little bit. But we'll show you the house, the changes we made, and also we'll have a link below to the before video to see what this property looked like before we did all this work, because it is completely different. One thing that does hurt us, but that's something we took into account, is we're on a somewhat busy road. It's a 2-lane road, but it is used quite a bit. So that will hurt the sale a little bit, but we are, as I said, accounting for that. And then it backs to railroad tracks too, which isn't amazing, but they're pretty far away from the house, and it has a big lot, which helps to make up for that. All right, so this property we bought from a wholesaler for $185,000. I think. Oh, look, there's a cobweb right there. We were planning to spend like $50,000, maybe $60,000 on it, and sell it for around $310,000. But we ended up spending more like $80,000, maybe more, and we're actually thinking we might be able to get close to $350,000 for it now. So we'll see how that goes. But it's big. It's I think it's 1,900 square feet. Has a big lot, almost a third of an acre. Has the attached garage plus the detached garage. So I think it will sell for close to that, and we'll be okay numbers wise. But we will have quite a bit of other costs too for selling, financing, and carrying costs, since we have had it quite a while. When we first bought it, this living room was kind of the same, but everything else was different. The kitchen was over there where the dining room was. There's a big wall here we took out. There was a doorway that went to a family room back there that we changed around. So we made a lot of big changes in this house. And usually we try not to do that just because so many things can and do go wrong when you make big changes, and it takes so long as well. These rooms were still somewhat the same. Here's one bedroom. We refinished the hardwood, put in new windows, new trim, new paint, new fixtures, new doors. So there was a lot of work that went into this. We did plumbing work, some electrical work, roof. So I think there's HVAC work. There's quite a bit going on. We completely redid the bathrooms. This had a giant, I think it was pink vanity, had a pink tub before. Oh, there's something in there. Well, we've gone to using bath surrounds whenever we can, because with their designs, they don't look that bad. They're cheaper, they're easier to clean, and they take so much less time to install than tile tubs. So that's really been something that has helped us recently. This bedroom back here used to have a door right there that went into a little tiny bathroom that was then connected to a family room. So we took that door out, changed that all around. There was also a window right here that looked into the back. We took that out, made this just a real bedroom now. And then, as I said, we completely redid the kitchen, moved it. These are Home Depot cabinets and Home Depot counters, Home Depot appliances. These are kitchen compact cabinets now. We used to use them a lot before because they're really fast. We can get them in 2 weeks. We can custom order sizes. But we stopped using them because they only had kind of the brown or maple colors, which have kind of gone out of style a little bit. But they just came out with the white shaker. So we can get these again now, which is really nice. So you can see the shaker means it's just kind of like the square design around the outside of the door. So have those. We've said it before. We don't put fridges in almost all of our houses because we don't need to. The buyers usually bring their own fridge or buy their own fridge. And if we can save $1,000 or $2,000 in each house, and we're doing 20 to 30 flips a year, that's a lot of money we save every year. This used to be the kitchen right here. You can see Nikki did stage this house as well. And then there used to be a wall right there and a window looking out into that addition. This is the new and improved laundry room. In the garage, we have an extra window. But it used to be you walked through that little door and then walked back through another door to get into this back room. But we added this hallway. It's a little wider than I was hoping for, but I'm going to live with it. And then what we end up doing is putting up this wall and making a master bedroom. So this was just a one kind of big family room before, and it had windows everywhere. So we took out some windows and made it into a master suite. I was talking about before how that other bedroom had a door that came into a tiny bathroom. That was where that tiny bathroom was. So we gutted that, made it bigger, made a master bath that comes into the master bathroom only now. And then this was kind of another bedroom before, and that's where the window looked out from the other bedroom that I talked about. And now this is a giant master closet. So I think this is a really nice feature to have this big master, because you already have a really big living room. You have this little den here that could be an office or extra space. And I don't think you need another giant family room for the house. All right, the backyard. Maybe we'll get out here. Oh, look, our sprinkler's kind of going. A huge yard. And it does have a garage back there. That's where all the windows were that we took out. We just did not need that many windows in the closet and or in the middle of a wall. So that's why we did that. The sprinkler does not sound very good, but that's some really green weeds right there. So maybe we'll look at that when we're done videotaping. Here's the garage. We still need to get the roof done on the garage. They did the roof on the house, but as you can see, the roof on the garage is a little worse for wear. I thought they're going to do that by now, but we can always mention in the listing comments that will be done. Here you can see the railroad, which is still in use, so that is definitely not a good selling point. However, you know, it is pretty far away from the house. And then, while technically you're not supposed to, there is that little road around the railroad where, you know, you could access this shop from the back. And there is room around the side of the house as well to get back here to the little shop. And we did have to add some siding, clean up this, add the garage door, so we had to do some work out here too. We didn't spend a ton of money on it, but just wanted to get it, you know, somewhat workable. We have a really fancy lock for it. Hopefully nobody picks that. Oh, they didn't clean up all of it. It's better than it was, but, you know, not the most beautiful garage ever built. And we replaced, oh yeah, some of these panes were broken, so we just replaced them instead of replacing the whole window. A lot easier. All right, so that is the property. We will get it listed here soon. It will be interesting to see how the market reacts with it being on that road, with it back into the railroad tracks. But we priced it at $350 because there's other houses that are smaller lots, don't have the extra garage, selling for $350 in this area. So we are pricing it lower than it, definitely quite a bit lower than it would be priced if it was, you know, on a quiet street on its own lot. So we're hoping we have it priced right. We'll see how that goes. Like I said, we bought it for $185, I think. Have $80,000 to $90,000 into this. We had to rebuild this whole back roof, which was in a video, because it was made out of 2x4s spliced together. So there's a lot of unexpected costs on this one. Changing the floor plan like that really adds to the costs. And then we'll probably have, yeah, $25,000, $30,000 in other costs as well. So we'll have $110,000, $120,000 into it. So our break even is probably around $300, $310. Not, you know, for that amount of work, not an amazing flip, but we'll still be okay. Didn't take a huge amount of resources, but we did take us some time to get it done. All right, thank you guys for watching. Hope you appreciate this video. We appreciate all the comments, all the likes, all the new subscribers. Thank you for doing that. And of course, check out InvestFourMore.com for more information on our flips, rentals, being an agent, being a wholesaler. Have hundreds of articles on there. We also have 9 books on Amazon that I've written, so you can check those out as well if you want more in-depth information.